The 18th century was a time of exploration and expansion on the high seas. But it was also a time of great danger. Lurking in the shadows were pirates. These weren't just ordinary thieves, these were cunning strategists, ruthless fighters, and charismatic leaders. They were the pirate lords, and they ruled the waves with a mixture of fear and admiration. Their names echoed across the oceans, striking terror into the hearts of merchants and sailors. These maritime outlaws operated outside the law. They challenged the authority of empires and amassed unimaginable wealth. Their exploits became legendary, passed down through generations in whispers and tales. But who were these men who dared to challenge the established order? What drove them to a life of piracy, and how did they manage to achieve such notoriety? The answer, like the open sea itself, is vast and multifaceted. Join us as we delve into the lives of these fascinating figures, exploring their origins, their tactics, and their lasting impact on maritime history. No name struck more fear into the hearts of sailors than Blackbeard. Edward Teach, as he was originally known, cultivated a fearsome image. His thick black beard, said to have been braided with lit fuses during battle, became his trademark. He was as cunning as he was ruthless. Blackbeard's reign of terror centered on the Caribbean and the American colonies. He targeted wealthy merchant ships, blockading Charleston, South Carolina for a time. His flagship, the, became a symbol of his power. It bristled with cannons and was crewed by a loyal band of cutthroats. Stories of Blackbeard's brutality spread like wildfire. One tale recounts how he shot his own quartermaster, Israel Hands, simply to remind his crew who was in charge. This reign of terror, however, was short-lived. Blackbeard met his end in a fierce naval battle in 1718. Despite his short career, Blackbeard's impact on maritime history was significant. He became the archetype of the fearsome pirate captain, his name forever synonymous with the golden age of piracy. In contrast to Blackbeard's raw brutality, Bartholomew Roberts, known as Black Bart, was the epitome of the gentleman pirate. He dressed in fine clothes, favoured tea and scripture, and forbade gambling and drinking on his ships. Don't be fooled, however. Roberts was a shrewd tactician and a highly successful pirate captain. His piratical career began reluctantly when Welsh privateer Howell Davis captured his ship. Roberts, then the ship's second mate, quickly adapted to his new life. He soon took command after Davis's death. Over 3 years, Roberts captured and plundered hundreds of ships across the Atlantic. He amassed a fortune in gold, silver, and other treasures. Roberts was known for his daring escapes and his strict code of conduct. He believed in a meritocracy, rewarding bravery and punishing cowardice. His articles, a set of rules governing his crew's behavior, were surprisingly progressive for the time. Roberts's career, like Blackbeard's, was cut short in a naval battle in 1722. But his legacy as a skilled navigator, a charismatic leader, and a different breed of pirate captain endured. From privateer to pirate, the making of a sea bandit. The line between privateer and pirate was often blurry in the 18th century. Many pirates, including Blackbeard and Roberts, began their careers as privateers. These legal pirates operated with the blessing of their governments. They were tasked with raiding enemy ships during wartime. However, when wars ended, many privateers found themselves unemployed and unwilling to return to a life on land. The lure of the sea and the potential for riches proved too strong. They turned to piracy, preying on ships of any nation, friend or foe alike. Other factors contributed to the rise of piracy. The burgeoning slave trade created a brutal and exploitative system, driving many desperate sailors to seek freedom and fortune as pirates. Additionally, the harsh conditions on merchant ships and the often unfair treatment of sailors by their captains pushed many to seek a better life under the black flag. Strategies of the pirate lords' terror and treasure. The success of pirate lords like Blackbeard and Roberts wasn't solely due to brute force. They were masters of strategy and psychological warfare. Terror played a crucial role in their tactics. The mere sight of a black flag on the horizon was enough to send chills down the spines of even the bravest sailors. Pirate ships, often smaller and faster than merchant vessels, would use surprise attacks. They relied on their superior numbers and close-quarters combat skills to overwhelm their prey. Once aboard, pirates aimed to minimize casualties, preferring to loot and plunder without a fight. Pirate captains understood the power of reputation. Tales of their ruthlessness and brutality spread far and wide. This fear often led to quick surrenders and minimal resistance. However, pirates weren't always bloodthirsty savages. They often offered their captives a chance to join their ranks, promising them a share of the loot and a life of freedom. Tales of daring and plunder. Anecdotes from the Golden Age. The Golden Age of piracy is awash with tales of daring raids, cunning escapes, and buried treasure. One such story involves Captain William Kidd, a privateer turned pirate. Legend has it that Kidd buried a vast treasure on Gardiner's Island off the coast of Long Island. Despite numerous searches, Kidd's treasure has never been found, fueling the imagination of treasure hunters for centuries. Then there's the story of Anne Bonny and Mary Read, two women who disguised themselves as men to join a pirate crew. They fought with the ferocity of any male pirate, their true identities remaining a secret until their capture. Their story challenged the conventional roles of women in the 18th century, highlighting the allure of freedom and adventure that piracy offered. These anecdotes, passed down through generations, paint a vivid picture of life during the golden age of piracy. They reveal the courage, the cruelty, and the complex characters that inhabited this tumultuous world. Legacy of the Pirate Lords, a lasting impact. The golden age of piracy eventually waned under the pressure of increased naval patrols and a crackdown on piracy by colonial authorities. However, the impact of these maritime outlaws continues to resonate today. The pirate lords left an indelible mark on maritime law and commerce. Their exploits forced governments to strengthen their navies, bolster their defenses, and formalize international agreements to combat piracy. The romantic image of the pirate, however, has transcended historical reality. From literature to Hollywood, pirates have been romanticized as symbols